Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Good Stuff Live. My name is Dave Sundstrom, and I am just tickled as heck to be here this evening. And the topic that has been selected has come directly from my YouTube community, from a specific community member, Kenneth Wilkinson. So I'm hoping Kenneth is with us this evening. Let me take a look over here and let's see who is in the stream already. All right, we got Superplex here. DJ Mexicano de Texas, welcome. Christopher Kraft, always a pleasure to have you join in on our live streams. Politically Incorrect, good to have you here. Good, sir. Mark Burchett, just down the road from me here. Good to have you, sir. Kenneth Wilkinson, yes, good to have you here. Thrash Pondo Ponds, and that reminds me, let me bring on Ian from Retro Serial real quick. Hang on one second. Let's do this. Ian,
hey.
Good to have you here, sir.
I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. When I saw Thrash Pondo, reminded me that we had you waiting in the wings. Sorry to keep you waiting there for a second.
Hey. No problem at all. No problem at all.
All right. David Niesner is here as well. What? Never a full episode. Here's what my confession is that I haven't watched a full episode of Gunsmoke probably for, I don't know, a decade or more. But prior to, so in the Salt Lake City area, I don't know if you remember this, Ian, but in the Salt Lake City area, at least decades ago, maybe this is before your time, you're substantially younger than me.
not too much. I think I'm less than 1 decade younger.
That's right, but it might be enough. So you know how maybe I can't remember, you were in Cedar City, but do you remember after the Channel 5 KSL Eyewitness News at 10:35 or whatever PM, you would get MASH, get MASH. Before MASH went into syndication and was in reruns, it was Gunsmoke that they would always play at that time.
All right.
So special treat for me was to stay up with the folks and watch an episode of Gunsmoke. It only would happen like on Friday nights.
Hi, Todd. He said hi to me, so I wanted to respond and say hi.
Oh, yeah. Hey, let's keep working through the folks that are here. David Niesner is here with us. Lee Parks, good to have you with us. Daryl Johnston's here tonight. Howdy, good neighbor. Let's see what we got. Anyone else here so far? We've got 38 people in the stream already, which is fantastic. Matter of fact, if I'm not careful, what happens typically is this thing just flies ahead of me. Tracy Roth Myers is here. Dolph Quick is here. Raja 1938. Van Pastor Man. Let's see. Mal Havoc, a regular. Always good to see Mal Havoc landing in the stream. Did I say Todd Fowler? If I didn't, I'm doing it now. Hey, Tracy, good to have you here. James Mitchell's here. Let's see. Anyone else? Robot B9 is here. Tom, a.k.a. the Hungry Jerk. You know, I here's the deal. He may be hungry, but I doubt he's a jerk. What do you think, Ian?
Maybe he gets hungry. Maybe he becomes a jerk when he gets hungry. I have the ability to get a little hangry.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe he gets hangry and then he turns into the Hungry Jerk. McGanahan Sky Jelly Fetty, the owner of the best YouTube username, is here as well. I see, boy, everything just flew by me again. Van Pastor Man, I've already said hello, but I'll say hello again. Matt Sweeney's here. Jimmy C. Marvel Man 1000. Georgia, good friend Georgia Ayers is here. Mr. Led is here. What do we got here? BB. It's Brian. All right, good to have you with us, Brian, this evening. We're going to talk a little bit about Gunsmoke in just a minute here. Mike Jones is here. Let's see what the Josh Singh says. Dave Sundstrom, just want to let you and everyone know that I'm leaving YouTube as of today. Well, you know what? Here's what I feel good about. I hope at some point you feel comfortable enough to come back. But everybody has to make tough decisions, right? And particularly when it comes to social media, and I do consider YouTube to be social media. they have to make tough decisions, and they have to make the right decisions for themselves, their family, and for their sanity, right? So hopefully at some point things mellow out and you feel comfortable coming back. But thank you for spending your final hours on YouTube with me on the live stream. Appreciate it, good friend. Let's see who else. I see Steve Trevino is here. It was Gunsmoke, then Monday Night Football for me. The memories. The memories. So do you have, Ian, any particular memories of Gunsmoke?
Oh, absolutely. It was quite a while ago. I can't say it was in first tier rotation in my house, but for a while there, I had a stepfather, and he really liked Gunsmoke and Westerns in general. And so it was on regularly. I didn't always catch every episode, and it was quite a while ago, but yeah, I mean, it was on, and I watched it, and they were fun episodes. Can't say it was my favorite TV Western, but I enjoyed it, and I did hear this rumor one time, and I don't know if you heard this too, but the guy who played Festus,
Ken Curtis,
lived here, close to where I am, like between. I don't know this or not, but when we were traveling, like from Cedar to St. George or St. George to Salt Lake or whatever, we'd always drive by this ranch, and I was told that ranch belonged to the guy who played Festus, but I don't know if that's true or not. But
I cannot verify that one way or another, although I do remember that he made a lot of appearances in the area, which leads me to believe that if he didn't live here all the time, that he may have had like a ranch or another home here in the area. So doesn't surprise me at all. Ken Salyers is here as well. Greatest show ever, he says. I would love to see in the chat, I know a lot of folks think that Gunsmoke was the greatest Western, but Ian, you mentioned that it wasn't your favorite Western. Do you want to share what your favorite Western was?
Wild Wild West, man.
Yeah, baby.
That's it, man.
Yeah.
Gunsmoke was great. I mean,
yeah.
It was really good, and I really can't even think of too many other TV Westerns. I know that there were
Bonanza.
More. Oh, Bonanza. I wasn't a fan. So Gunsmoke would have done better than Bonanza.
See, It would have been, for me, Bonanza first. I loved Bonanza
really?
growing up. Yeah, I watched a lot of reruns of Bonanza. It was on in the daytime, whereas Gunsmoke reruns were on later at night, which is why I didn't watch it as much.
Oh, okay. But Wild Wild West, that was the best, man.
Yeah, it was great because it was so different, right? It was an amalgamation of the Old West and science fiction and fantasy. It really kind of preceded steampunk by a couple of decades.
Right.
Scott Barnes in the house. On the phone I'm looking at, looks like to me, based on your aspect ratio there. Does that say Gumpasaurus on your shirt?
Oh, John, wait. It does say Gumpasaurus. Whoops, that's not going to work either. It says Gumpasaurus.
Nice.
It says like a regular grandpa, only more awesome.
Oh.
And then it's got my grandkids down here. So.
I love it. Did you get that for Father's Day?
I did, from my grandkids. Yep.
That is so great. Now, do you really have 4 grandkids at this point already?
I have 4 grandchildren, so I'm an old man.
Oh my gosh. That's awesome, though, Scott. That's a great gift.
Yeah, I like it.
Lamont Bradford's here. Awesome. Heed My Warning is here. Says, didn't some producer cancel Gilligan's Island just to bring Gunsmoke back? We might talk about that. We may talk about that at some point. But we've got a quiz to go through, and I hate to talk too much about some things that might give things away. Hey, Georgia, good to have you here. David Neesner says, do you have multiple Diet Cokes every time you say, oh, do I have it ready? Here's what I did. I just loaded it up in the Yeti. So every time I say feller, David Neesner is challenging me to say, or to take a drink. I don't say fella. I am a feller. I think I say feller. It feels like I say feller. Let's see. Kenneth says can't go wrong with Matt Dillon and Festus Hagen or Chester Good, if we want to go back a little further. Dave Claroni, hello. Good to have you with us. Thanks for joining the live stream. First time I've seen your name. You may have joined in the past, but welcome. We're here talking about music, movies, and television, mostly from the 50s, 60s, and 70s. I'm joined by my friends Ian and Scott this evening. And so Ian, before we get too far into this, what's a let's talk projects. What's your latest project? What are you working on?
Well, first of all, let me just apologize to everybody who watched my channel over a couple things. I've been absent for a little bit. Just had a 26-year wedding anniversary, so I took a week off other than the podcast too. So I haven't done any of the shorter videos. And then I tried to go live, and it's a complete failure, so I apologize for that as well. So, but I'm getting back on track, and I'm going to be actually doing more live stuff too, which is going to be a lot of fun. Now that I know how to run everything, and we did a test the other night, and it was a failure of a test, but you learn from your mistakes. That said, I have a couple of things going on. I'm going to be talking about Black Star pretty soon. I don't know if you remember that Saturday morning cartoon. And tomorrow I have somebody from Germany actually, who is going to be joining me, hopefully, God willing, and we're going to be talking about subgenres of music. So he has a channel here on YouTube, but I don't really. I'll plug it later if I can. But it's a smaller channel, but he knows a lot about subgenres of music. He's very knowledgeable, and he's not. I don't think he's originally from Germany because he doesn't speak with any type of accent. It's detectable to me. But when I contacted him, he's like, "Yeah, well, I'm German time," and I'm like, "Okay, well." I don't know, it's 7 o'clock in the morning there for you, but that's when I can do it. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. That'll be a great one to listen to. Scott, I know you're not, you don't make videos, but you do all sorts of other amazing things. What's going on in your world?
I unfortunately was prepared. Well, I was prepared. That's maybe not the unfortunate part. I was prepared to demo some of the stuff that I've been building lately. But my daughter had some car trouble, so I am down here at her place instead of where my stuff is. So nothing necessarily new. My son-in-law will grab the bird feeder that I made for them. That
Awesome.
They filled up with bird feed this morning, and it's already empty.
Well, then it's what a great public service that you are providing to birds everywhere. So I need the opposite of whatever you got going on, Scott. I'm thinking like I hear you can buy these owls to scare the birds away, but I've got so many birds right around my home that they're making a mess of things. Let's be clear. They're making a mess of things. And I really need them gone. But that's great. Hopefully you guys are enjoying having the birds around.
Yeah, I made one for my wife because her mom was very much into birds, and they always had a bird feeder. And her mom passed several years ago, so that was one of the things I made for her. And my daughter, very fond of her grandmother as well, and made that also. But not Bonanza, but it is what it is.
That's awesome. Well,
and here comes the bird feeder.
Okay, I can't wait to see it. Son-in-law on the YouTube live stream. There we go. Look at that. That's the handiwork of one Mr. Scott Barnes.
Yep.
Here, I'm gonna let you go full screen kind of here so we can see it.
It's got plexiglass, and it's got a hinge, and then of course, place for the birds to rest, and a string to put it in the tree. And we added a lip the last time she was here to keep the food from spilling all over the place. So there you go.
Looks like the birds have been messing that one up a little bit too.
Yeah, you think?
All right, there we go. Let's go this way. This works really well with your aspect ratio, at least for a little bit here. July Miller, first time I've seen July Miller stop by the live stream. Great to have you with us, July. And James Bearden. Ken Curtis was living in Clovis, California. So it's not too far away, but he might have had a little cabin or something in our neck of the woods, Ian, because he certainly did make a lot of appearances in our area. Josh sings, yep, take care, Josh. Hope all goes well with you. Dolph Quick says Gunsmoke, Bonanza, Wild Wild West, and The Lone Ranger are my favorite westerns. It's a great list that Dolph's put together there. Let's see what else. Kenneth Sayers says Ken Curtis played in a lot of westerns, and what a singer. Yeah, he did, and he sang with the Sons of Pioneers. I was aware of that. My father-in-law is a fan of the Sons of the Pioneers. Let's see. BB, so B squared twice, says my favorite episode is Uncle Sunday, where Chester sings "Pack on My Back" and Doc joins in. Haven't seen that episode. Let's see. Robot B9 says, I remember there was a little person that was the villain on the Wild Wild West. Anybody remember the name of that villain?
Nope.
Oh, if you hadn't asked me, I'd have been able
Yep.
to tell you off the
He
top
was
of
a
my head.
doctor.
Yes.
Oh.
Michael Dunn was the name of the actor. He made appearances on lots of different shows, and his name was Dr. Lovelace.
Loveless.
Yeah,
Oh,
Dr. Miguelito. Miguelito. Little Michael Lovelace. Yeah. Love that character. And Michael Dunn, what a great. I've done a video on him. If you haven't seen that, I encourage folks to go back and learn a little bit more about him. What a truly standout individual. Mike Jones says Festus married John Ford's daughter and was in several of John Wayne westerns, including The Searchers. He was also a singer. Awesome. Dave Niesner asked if I'd call Little House on the Prairie Western. I would. What do you guys think? Was it a Western, or does that not count for you guys?
It wasn't. When I think Western, I think more action. But of course,
Yeah.
it happens in the West, settlement stuff.
Yeah.
And kind of that's the thing I think about with Bonanza. Just thinking about it, it's kind of a cross between something like Little House on the Prairie and Gunsmoke or something like that. There's some of that homey feel to it. To some degree.
Very good point. Yeah, very good point. As a matter of fact, hey, let me go ahead and share my screen here a little bit, because you talk about Gunsmoke, and the interesting thing about Gunsmoke was it was designed. It started as a radio program, right? And it was designed to be more adult, more hard-boiled, whereas Bonanza and some of these other westerns were they were dramas and they were family-oriented. Gunsmoke, in its inception, was designed to be kind of like a hard-nosed crime noir kind of a show. As a matter of fact, it was really styled after Philip Marlowe. That's what the request was get me Philip Marlowe in the Old West. And the very first script that they wrote, the reason I've got Michael Shane up here, was they took an old Michael Shane script and rewrote it for the Old West and put in the characters of, I think it was Mark Dillon the first time the script was written instead of Matt Dillon. But so it was really, they took this and they created a whole new type of Western, which it was new and innovative for its time, where, of course, it feels like a dozen other Westerns at this point. But for its time, it was something very, very, very innovative. All right. Go back to this other aspect ratio. I'm a fan of this one right here. There we go. So anyway, let's keep reading here. We've got, here's another great Western I'm a big fan of. If you guys ever get a chance to, I think it's on MeTV, either that or H&I, one of the over-the-air networks here in the area. Rifleman with Chuck Connors is just fantastic.
Yeah.
Kind of a mix. It's more Bonanza-esque in that there's a lot of drama there too. This father raising his son, he's widowed father. Good stuff though. Let's see. Comment from Steve Trevino says, great Johnny Carson episode with James Arness mentioned that he didn't understand why Kitty left the show. James said that I didn't do anything to her, and Johnny quit. Maybe that's why she left. Here's an interesting thing. According to James Arness, he only kissed one time during the entire run. And I don't want to name the number of seasons that it ran for, because that'll show up in trivia. But it's a long, lengthy run. He kissed one time, and it wasn't Miss Kitty. It was not Miss Kitty. It was a character played by, again, better not share that. That might be in the trivia. Let's see. Gunsmoke, longest running series until SVU matched it, but I actually thought The Simpsons beat it.
I think The Simpsons is the longest running show.
Simpsons does hold the longest currently, I believe.
Yeah, I think so. Let's see what we got here. We will have to discuss the controversy of the off-screen romance between Milburn Stone and Amanda Blake. Worst kept secret on the set. I would discuss the discuss it if I knew anything about it. Do either of you guys know we lost Scott. Do you know anything about the controversy
No,
there?
my whole knowledge of Gunsmoke's pretty limited.
Yeah.
I mean, other than I was a casual fan. I did
Yeah.
like it, but so I'm imagining I'm going to bomb on the on the trivia tonight, bring disgrace on my family for generations to come.
Here's the thing I love, Ian, is that you're not afraid to do that, right? It's okay. You don't have to be loving music, movies, and television, right? From
Right.
the genre, the time frame that we're talking about. Doesn't mean we're experts in everything. Doesn't mean we know everything about a particular show, right? So there's certainly a lot of shows that I would bomb if it was, if I wasn't making the trivia. Hey, my friend Justin's here. He says, do you recall that very old Western with James Garner and Margot Kidder, where he is killed at the end of the first season and avenged by his twin brother? I do not recall that. Do not recall that at all. July is asking if that was Maverick, but I don't think it was. That doesn't sound like it was Maverick. Let's see.
I never saw an episode of Maverick. I saw the movie. Saw the movie. And I felt kind of dumb because that was one of those shows that I saw. I'm like, well, that's a good movie.
Yeah.
I didn't know the whole time that it was a television show.
The shows were great. They were, old black and white Westerns, but you got James Garner. You had Jack Kelly, I believe, was and then there was, I believe, in the back of my head, I think I saw an episode or two where Roger Moore, James Bond himself, was another one of the Maverick brothers. They would bounce back and forth between the different brothers, and occasionally you'd get a combined episode too where they would all. But that was a great show. A lot of fun. You mixing the action with the humor there because they were great. Mike Jones says John Wayne introduced the first episode of Gunsmoke. I'm actually there will be a video that I'll drop tomorrow that will be all about that, Mike. So hopefully you'll look forward to that and watch it and enjoy it. Let's see. Daryl says, man, you did not want to be a girlfriend of those Cartwright boys. They almost always died. Oh, they sure did. That was always a bad, like a red shirt guy.
I was going to say, they wear red shirts or something.
Got to say hello to my friend Steve, who runs the Life and Sad Ending channel. Anytime you ever decide you want to join us here on the stream, Steve, we'd love to have you. Your channel's great, and I truly enjoy your videos. I enjoy the videos that come from the original Life and Sad Ending channel.
Yeah.
And they're very dramatically different than a lot of the videos that now have parroted the titles that you started with. But keep up the good work. Would Lassie count as a Western? No. It's like
country. Set in modern times.
I think Lassie has been, various incarnations have been during different time periods, but it's definitely, I don't recall Lassie set in like the 1800s or anything like that.
I thought that it was really kind of more newer, like 1950s, like set in the 1950s or something. But I could be wrong. I used to watch Lassie quite a bit.
Yeah, Lassie and Timmy. I used to watch Lassie and Timmy. At least that's what I called it when I was a kid. I wouldn't categorize Little House on the Prairie as a Western at all. It was a drama about frontier living after the Civil War. Plus, I don't think many people think Minnesota is a Western. Yeah, I think the reason I lump it in with those is time period more than location, that type of thing. Yeah, Zoperplex is right. Gunsmoke was described as the first adult Western. And it had a great cast. It really did. I mean, you think about that cast. You had James Arness, Amanda Blake, Dennis Weaver for the first, I don't know how many seasons. And Milburn Stone as the doc. Really good stuff. And that cast, with the exception of Dennis Weaver, and there were people that came in and, were on for a season or two. Burt Reynolds is one that I think of. It was just phenomenal casting by the folks that put that show together week after week.
Did it ever get into color?
Yes, it did. It did.
It's black and white.
It started out as black and white, and it started out also, Ian, as 30-minute episodes.
Really?
And then I'm not sure if it transitioned to an hour and color at exactly the same time. I think it did, but folks in the chat can correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, I remember watching hour episodes, and I remember them being in black and white. So I don't know though. This is a long time ago. This is back when I was like 10.
Yeah. And the mind plays tricks on you when you think about those things that you were watching when you were a kid.
They sure do. And you go back and I could have sworn that it had that, and then it doesn't, or something, or it does, or whatever.
Yeah. Tracy wants to know what folks thought of Bat Masterson. That's honestly, I can say that's a show I've never watched, so I can't share an opinion on that one.
I'm just learning right now that that's a show.
Yeah. Let's see. What else do we have? Calvin Beard's here. Great to have you with us, Calvin. He points out that if a girl married a Cartwright, she died. Yeah.
Calvin Beard. That's got to be a that's got to be a moniker. Calvin
Beard, I know some Beards. I know some Beards. I worked with a Fred Beard years ago when I was in a prior life as a teenager and then a young adult. I worked at a Kmart here in Woods Cross, Utah area, and there was a Fred Beard there.
All
so
right.
Maybe.
I just know a lot of Calvinists who are known for their beards. That's a theological thing, but so I didn't know.
Thrash Pondo says the first episode of The Simpsons was the Christmas episode in December of 1989, and it has run with new episodes every year since. So do the math. I mean, we're talking 30 plus years now at this point, The Simpsons. That's crazy.
Yeah.
At some point, I think that show really, I got to say, I loved it, loved The Simpsons, but I've kind of quit watching it regularly at this point. It feels like its best days are past.
I agree. There was a time there where I was watching it, regularly, religiously, constantly, reruns and everything. But I think that's one of those shows that kind of has hit its peak. Every story's kind of been told, I think. It's kind of one of those situations where, I don't know if you're aware, but John Ritter was talking one time about when they decided that that Three's Company was going to be over, and they were hiding a cat. The episode was they were hiding a cat from Furley, and in the first season they had hid a dog from Mr. Roper, and it was like, this is just kind of some of the same stuff over again. At some point, the shows have got to end.
Yeah. At some point, when they start regurgitating the scripts, that's when you know it might be time.
Right.
Nick Mamonis is in the house. Good to have Nick with us as always. And he's correct. It was Cousin Bo. Cousin Bo was Roger Moore. This will be in the video tomorrow, but Joseph Saylor says James Arness would never have done Gunsmoke if not for John Wayne. So who was the man at the start of the show that Matt Dillon drew his gun on? Heard it was Sam the bartender. I don't think it was. I read something about it quite a while ago. I can't remember. But they did change that opening as Gunsmoke moved into the 70s, and there was kind of this anti-violence movement on TV movement that was in full on momentum that it had. They changed those openings, so he was no longer drawing on the feller out there in front of the saloon. Yeah, Russell Flowers says that show that I was being asked about was called Nichols with James Gardner and Margot Kidder. I don't recall a show called Nichols at all. That one's a new one for me. Tracy's still hoping for some opinions on Bat Masterson. Come on, people. James Arness and Peter Graves are brothers. Scott Barnes is no longer with us on video, but he is here in the stream, and he is absolutely correct. I think Peter's the younger brother. Mal Havoc said, I always like Lorne Greene on Battlestar Galactica more than Bonanza. I like him equally on both shows. I think he's just a great actor.
I'm a huge Battlestar Galactica fan.
Me too.
Love that season.
Me too. Yep.
That only season.
Yeah. The other one's not truly a second season of Battlestar Galactica. It was its own show, Galactica 1980. Yeah, James Arness was the monster in Howard Hawks' The Thing from Another World, which was remade by John Carpenter into The Thing, which was a great movie. July says, Lassie, family or forest? I think it started in the series or in the 60s. I think you're right. I think you are right. So let's do this. Let me see what I got going over here. I forget sometimes what I have on these slides. So let me pull up the next slide. See what's over here. Oh, yeah. So Jimmy Stewart was actually, he's the guy that tells the whole story about John Wayne and the influence that John Wayne actually had on the casting of James Arness. But I'm not going to go into it tonight because we've got other things to talk about besides Duke Wayne, who's one of my favorite actors of all time, despite the current wokeness and the folks that want to rename the John Wayne International Airport. Who knows? It's probably already been done. I still love the Duke and love Mr. Wayne and his movies. And he had a huge influence on Gunsmoke, although he never appeared as a actor in any episode of Gunsmoke. There's James Arness as the Thing from Another World. A Howard Hawks movie, by the way. Hawks is known for a lot of great westerns. A lot of great westerns. All right. With Festus here, the marshal says hold tight because we'll be right back. What I'm going to do is we have some commercials. We're going to take a little commercial break.
I love these things.
Yes, and then we shall return.
It's your secret weapon, even when they think you're unarmed. So get Ideal's new Roy Rogers quick shooter hat at your favorite store today, and you'll always be ready for anything. Ask for Ideal's new Roy Rogers quick shooter hat.
The action men from Bonanza, the Cartwrights, the greatest Western toys ever. Little Joe, fastest left-handed draw in the West. Ben, the toughest pioneer who ever rode the plains. And Hoss, always ready for a good fight. You can even get the Outlaw, the meanest desperado you ever saw.
Watch out! He's getting away! Hit him, Hoss! Pow! You got him!
And you can get the trailblazing 4-in-1 Bonanza wagon. Each Cartwright comes complete with over a dozen accessories. Each horse has action ooze. You can buy Little Joe's Pinto, Hoss's Stallion, and Ben's Big Buckskin. The action men from Bonanza will put you right in the Wild West. By American character, the hottest brand around.
Hello, folks. I'm John Wayne. You know, with America's bicentennial coming up, we'll be hearing a lot about our early history and making some discoveries. For instance, did you know that when we made the Louisiana Purchase, the money came from loans by the American people? The same thing was true when we bought Alaska, when we built our first transcontinental railroad. Fact is, citizens have been investing their dollars to help America grow ever since 1776. And they're still doing it today with their purchases of United States savings bonds. Buying bonds builds security for yourself as well as your country, and that's not a bad combination. So how about making yourself a part of that 200-year tradition? Take stock in America with United States savings bonds. Thank you.
He's coming! He's coming! There's gonna be a gunfight!
There's a brand new bubble gum in town named Hubba Bubba. It's soft, juicy, and delicious. Best of all, Hubba Bubba lets you blow great, big, fat bubbles. that won't stick to your face. Big bubbles, no troubles.
All right. Gotta quickly change things around here a little bit, Ian.
Okay.
So, do you remember any of those commercials?
Not too many of them. I remember. I mean, I couldn't imagine having one of those toys though. That'd be the best. I mean, seriously, that'd be worth some money there. So,
Yeah, those Bonanza toys would have been awesome. I saw in the chat they were talking about the fact that I don't think many folks realize that there were Bonanza action figures.
Yeah, I didn't know that there were that. That's really cool. The other thing too is I do remember a slew of commercials like that first one you played, where there's like guns and stuff like that. I had all kinds of toy guns here and there, a lot of sticks that I pretended were guns mostly, but every once in a while I got a real toy gun, so those were always so cool. And I remember going to the stores and like looking at those toy guns and stuff and really, really wanting those real bad. Didn't matter what it was. Even the bows and arrows and stuff like that too were super exciting for me.
For sure. And the interesting thing is we all had these toy guns back in the day, and it felt like we understood that they were simply toys and it was pretend, and we were smart enough to figure all that stuff out. But we don't see those commercials anymore. Those are gone. Those are things of an era gone by. But Dolph Quick points out that Hubba Bubba was a godsend for me. I've got to say, I love those Hubba Bubba commercials with the gunfighter. Those were just the best. And the other thing I wanted to point out as I was putting together the montage of commercials for this week's live stream was that the Duke, he could make even selling bonds interesting. I just listening to him and the way he talks, his cadence, just the ultimate pitch man. And he actually did a number of different, in the mid to late 70s, did a number of different commercials for a bunch of different companies, and he always did a great job.
He was a great guy. I mean, he did great stuff, great shows.
Yeah. Robot B9 asks, anyone remember John Wayne as Genghis Khan? Wasn't it called The Warrior and the Geisha? I think that's what it was called. Yeah, not the best casting in the world. I think it's always best if you can, if you're going to cast an Asian. If you're going to have an Asian character, cast an Asian. That
was back when Yellowface was going on.
Yep.
Kind of thing,
Yep. Completely. Let's see. What else? Oh, The Conqueror. That was the name of the title. The Conqueror. It wasn't one of John Wayne's better films. That's correct. Yeah, it was not. All right. Let's do this. Let me switch over here, Ian. And you've already prepped and warned me that this may not be your most shining moment when it comes to trivia.
No, but sometimes I can figure them out, like process of elimination or something like that.
Really, I'm expecting my friend Kevin, boy, I'm drawing a blank on his name now. Holy cow, how embarrassing. Anyway, I'm expecting certain individuals to shine on this. I'm turning into an old man, and every once in a while I'll have these moments where I can't remember someone's name, even though I just said it like
a minute.
Who knows? Not too long ago. But I'm sure you guys will remind me who requested that we talk about Gunsmoke. Maybe you can remind me, because I can't remember your name at the moment, and it's super embarrassing for me. I do have to do this. Hang on one second. Let me pull up we've got a super chat here, and I always feel like it's important to make sure that the super chats get displayed on the screen. So let me bring that up on the screen. I even got a cool sound effect for it. Check this out.
Hey, right on.
John Collins says, hey, Dave, go have some fast food or something. You deserve a break. Thank you for all the live streams and the video content. You are the essence of the good stuff. Thank you, John. That deserves another. No, I got another sound effect. How about this one?
Whoa, there's a super chat.
Thank you, John Collins. I appreciate
Awesome.
that super chat very, very much. You know what? You said deserve a break. That tells me I need to go to McDonald's with this $10 and get me something delightful from Mickey D's, which is actually my favorite Scottish restaurant. Okay.
McRib.
Let's see here. Kenneth was the individual that was asking about Bonanza. Holy cow, we've got another super chat.
Look at that.
Let me
A
see
bunch
what
of
we
nice
got here.
people.
Let me click that one. James Mitchell says, I wasn't the biggest Gunsmoke fan, as it was a bit before my time, but thank you for all the comment. Well, thank you. Good, sir. Let me go ahead and...
Whoa, there's a super chat.
Thank you, James. That's truly appreciate the kindness. And I've got another one here. They're coming all at once.
Yay.
Let's get them out of the way before we do the trivia. Yes. Let's see. Calvin Beard said John Wayne smoked 3 to 4 packs of cigarettes. I reckon that might have something to do with his lung cancer. It may have. Our doctors say that there is a connection there. So Russell Flowers, though. Thank you, Russell. So kind of you.
Whoa, there's a super chat.
Really appreciate that. Never cared much for Westerns, but Gunsmoke was the exception. And maybe it goes back to the way that was designed, right? It wasn't really originally designed as a Western, but to be hard-boiled crime noir kind of show, patterned after Philip Marlowe, Michael Shayne, those kind of things. I think over time it changed and morphed more into your traditional Western, but definitely an exception for me, and it was always a treat when I got to stay up late and watch it with my parents. Mal Havoc says McDonald's, it's great. They feed millions of people every day. Indeed, they do. And they do it very economically. And here's the thing about McDonald's. Let me take a sip of my Diet Coke while I say this. Regardless of where you are in this world, you order a Big Mac, it tastes like a Big Mac. The consistency, and you know what? Some can argue that there's an averageness to their consistency, but their consistency is phenomenal in my book. And for that reason, I appreciate going to McDonald's from time to time. Let's see. Rare Medium says, if you like Westerns, you should play Red Dead Redemption. One of my sons has played that game, and it looked really cool. I have not played it just because of the time required for the investment, but I'm moving into a point in life where at some point in the not too distant future, I might have a little more time on my hand as I contemplate retirement from my full-time career. Maybe that's something I'll go back and do. All right, let's see. Let's go ahead and get going. Again, thanks to those fine folks who dropped the super chat. So it's very kind of you. Let's move to question number 1, where we're going to test Ian's knowledge. Scott vacated before we got to the trivia. Smart man. But you've set the stage for us, so we understand. If this will be one of those exercises where you can look at the questions and try to get inside my head and see if you can answer the question correctly. All right, question number 1. Most of the stories in Gunsmoke take place in what city? Carson City, Nevada, Dodge City, Kansas, Tombstone, Arizona, or Virginia City, Nevada? And just give us a second here, Ian. Let's not answer it right away. Even if you're not certain, let's let folks kind of put in their answers. Some will be right, some will be wrong. I would encourage folks to, as they look at the question, don't look over the chat. Kind of answer it in your head first so you can kind of keep track of how you're doing. Ian, what do you think?
I switched over to the private chat so that my eyes
good idea. Yeah, good idea.
Don't fall and I don't cheat.
Yeah.
Let's see. Look, I don't think it's Tombstone, and I don't remember Virginia City. Dodge and Carson both sound right. Kansas, though, huh? I don't know if it's between Nevada or Kansas. Nevada's more west. It's a western. But there's something about Dodge City that sounds more right. So I'm going to go with Dodge City.
Okay, let's see how you did. You are correct, Ian. You are one of one. And by the way, you've heard that term, get the heck out of Dodge?
Oh, yeah.
That came from Gunsmoke.
Yeah,
There are lots of people that wanted to get the heck out of Dodge if they ever crossed Marshall Dillon the wrong way. All right. Hey, we might have Scott Barnes back. Let's see. Hang on one second. See if we can bring Scott Barnes back in to the trivia. Oh, wait. And it's kind of an outdoorsy stream he's got going on now. Scott Barnes, we're doing a little trivia. Are you up for trivia right now?
I am. I answered in the chat and I got it right. So
you got it correctly. All right. Ian was a little bit worried, left here to fend on his own without someone else playing with him. So this is great to have you with us.
I'll just defer to Scott. I'll just, I think Scott knows. Between me and Scott, we know all of these. That's one that Scott knows.
Scott, are you in your backyard?
I'm in my daughter's backyard.
Oh, in your daughter. Oh, you did a little traveling since we last visited.
Well, I just walked outside the house, my daughter's house, to her backyard.
Oh, okay. You were over there already.
I was.
Got it.
I was.
All right. Well, after the second question, we'll check to see how everybody's doing here. So let's move to question number 2. Question number 2. Let's see. How many seasons did Gunsmoke run for on CBS? Just think about it for a minute. Ian and Scott will let folks do their thing. Are you a Simpsons fan, Scott? We were talking about the longest running TV series on network television right now. Do you watch Simpsons anymore?
Yeah, I think I was on for there. And I have it in my Netflix queue, but I catch it about every couple of weeks. I'll go in, maybe once a month I'll go in and watch an episode, but I haven't kept up. So
yeah, I think that's kind of the way a lot of us are at this point. It's still a fun place or a fun TV show to revisit from time to time, but no longer the must-see television that it once was. All right, Scott, do you have an answer for us? How many seasons did Gunsmoke run for on CBS?
Am I losing?
I think we're losing you, Scott. We're not getting you. Steady.
Can you still hear me?
You're bouncing in and out. How many? I was asking you if you knew the answer to this one.
Uh, 20.
20. Let's see if Ian. Do you think it's 20, or do you want to go something else?
Look, I'm going to go with Scott on this one. 20. I almost want to say 15, but I think 20. We'll just go 20.
Okay, 20 is correct. Stick with Scott. Always a good thing to do. The guy's got a treasure trove of knowledge.
Right.
All right. Let's see. Question number 3. According to James Arness, I knew I had this in the trivia. I'm glad I didn't say the name of the actress. During the entire 20-season run of Gunsmoke, and by the way, I put according to James Arness here because there is some argument about this. I read a couple articles where folks say that he did kiss Miss Kitty once. But according to James Arness, during the entire 20-season run of Gunsmoke, Marshall Dillon only kissed an actress once. Who was it? So I've already kind of said that it's probably not Amanda Blow. But was it Lindsay Wagner, Michael Learned, or Raquel Welch? So let's think about that one for a minute.
Oh, geez.
So Lindsay Wagner, of course, that would be Marshall Dillon kissing the Bionic Woman. Michael Learned would be Mother Walton. What was Olivia Walton? Raquel Welch.
Yeah. What I'm trying to think of, if this is my thought process, is if this was not a kissing show regularly, like they'd have to do something pretty dramatic to, make it happen. And like make an exception to the rule kind of a thing. And who would you have to have on to say, boy, Matt Dillon's got to kiss this girl.
Yeah.
And so there's one answer that I'm going to go with, but I'll wait till you want to hear it.
I think it's your turn. We let Scott answer last time, so go ahead and.
I'm going to look. I could be dead wrong, but that's just if they ran for 20 seasons and the main character never kissed anybody, and then he kisses this one girl, it has to be somebody that well, look, if we have her on, Matt has to kiss her. So I'm going to say Raquel Welch, and I don't even know if she was even on Gunsmoke at all, but that's just my thought process behind it.
What do you think, Mr. Barnes?
So I don't remember Raquel Welch being on Gunsmoke, and I'm a huge Raquel Welch fan, so if I missed it, I'm going to feel silly. We know it wasn't Amanda Blake. Lindsay Wagner, I think, would have been too young.
Choice.
Would have been too young, right? Because
I'm not going to tell you the answer, Scott.
But so I'm going with Michael Learned just because, and for the opposite reason that Ian did. I'm going with Michael Learned because if you brought in someone as powerful as Raquel Welch, it would have taken from the storyline. Whereas Michael Learned's more of the household, kind of pretty girl versus Raquel Welch, the bombshell stuff. I'm going Michael Learned.
Okay. Let's see what the answer is. The answer is Michael Learned. Michael Learned. Good job. Who played, by the way, a character named Mike on the show. I don't know what it is with her and the name Michael. But, I don't think Lindsay Wagner or Raquel Welch ever appeared on the Gunsmoke. That was me just being deceptive. So let's see. We've got some scores here. We've got Al Oduardi, who I didn't welcome. Alfred, it's always great to have you with us. B squared twice is 3 of 3. Al was 3 of 3. Let's see. Life and Sad Endings, 3 of 3. Let's see. Zoperplex is 2 for 2. Must have missed one. July Miller's getting is 3 of 3, going by logic. Daryl Johnston's 3 of 3. Todd Fowler, 3 of 3 as well. Dolph Quick, boy, you guys are just sharp tonight. 3 of 3. Kenneth Wilkinson's got 2 so far. TP's got 3 of 3. Lamont Bradford, 3 of 3. Yes, Jodie Foster was on Gunsmoke, definitely. Custom God, 0 of 3. Nick Mamonis, 3 of 3. Let's see, anyone else want to throw the score out here on the chat? David Neisner's 1 of 3. I'll wait just a second before I move along. Tom is 3 of 3, and Mal Havoc is 3 of 3. These aren't hard, so he says. Let me see if I can do better then. Those are fighting words. Mal Havoc. Fighting words, I say. As a matter of fact, holy cow. Steve, really? Et tu, Brute? Harder questions, please. John Collins, 1 of 3. Mike Jones, 3 of 3. Here we go. Let's see if this one is harder. It might not be harder. What famous actor portrayed Marshall Dillon on the Gunsmoke radio program? Your choices are Henry Fonda, Kirk Douglas, Raymond Burr, or William Conrad. I will pause. Who answered first last time? Was it you, Ian, or was it Scott?
I answered first.
Okay, so Scott, you will be up if your video is working. I can't tell. Based on your eye positioning, I'm saying you froze. But nope, there's movement. Okay, now there's movement.
I was muted, so.
Oh, you're muted. Hold on. We'll give folks about 10 more seconds. Someone said, "Please, no hard questions." I love that. I like the easy questions too. I like to answer questions and feel like I'm awesome. I enjoy being awesome.
They're all easy if you know them.
Yeah.
Right?
That's right. That's a good point. Daryl Johnson says that Dawn Wells should have been on Gunsmoke. She sure should have. That would have been great. Yeah, Dolph says, please no hard questions. All right. So, Scott Barnes, if that really is your name, good sir, give
It's
us an
Gumpot.
answer.
It's Gumpot
It's
tonight.
Gumpasaurus. That I shall refer to you as Gumpasaurus for the
There you go,
remainder of
Gumpasaurus.
the evening. What is the answer?
It is William Conrad. And who else would have the voice to be Matt Dillon other than William Conrad?
Yeah, what a great voice, right? William Conrad. Here's where I remember his voice. I do remember listening to some old Gunsmoke radio programs. I went through a phase where I just listened to tons of old radio shows, loved them. And he certainly was a great Marshal Matt Dillon on Gunsmoke, but he was also the guy that did the intro narration to Buck Rogers in the 25th century and just did a bang up job on that. So William Conrad is the correct answer, if I remember.
Sorry,
All right.
Ian, I didn't give you a chance to answer. I
didn't know it anyway. If you went first, I would have said whatever you said. So I would have been like, I have no idea. We're way outside my genre of radio. So,
who is co-owner and matriarch of the Long Branch Saloon? All right, we'll wait for a minute and let's see what folks are saying here. Anything else? Braidwood says that Lou Costello. I don't remember what we're talking about there, but boy, Justin, I'm a big fan of Mr. Costello and his partner in comedy, Bud Abbott. Let's see. What else do we got going on here? Mike Jones says, been subscribed for a while but never commented. This is awesome. I'm glad you're enjoying it. This is one of the things that I look forward to on a weekly basis. Just kind of hanging out and connecting with my YouTube community. So it's fun to do the videos, right, and respond to comments that way. But I'll be truthful. Every once in a while, my hands, they get totally tired from typing. I'll spend 2-3 hours at a time and they just start to ache. So this is fun because I can interact with you guys without having the achy fingers at the end. All right, so let's see. It is Ian's turn to answer first. Let's see. Ian, what do you think, good sir?
I have no idea. I'm going to say Miss Kitty because that's the only character on this that I know.
Okay, and so Scott, what do you think?
Well, Miss Kitty was the madam. I also want to say that she was the co-owner. So I'm going with Ian.
Going to agree with Ian. Okay, all right. Well, let's see if, Miss Ellie, I definitely remember Miss Ellie, maybe not from this TV show. Wasn't there Miss Jane Hathaway in Beverly Hillbillies?
Yes, indeed.
Miss Kitty is the correct answer. Co-owner and matriarch of the Long Branch Saloon. In the radio show, interestingly enough, Miss Kitty was definitely a madame, a house of ill repute. As the show transitioned to television, and of course they were held to some different standards on TV, that was never mentioned again. It was a saloon, and if there was anything like that going on, it certainly wasn't alluded to in the television show. And it was, I think, the second season of Gunsmoke where it was made known that she was a co-owner of that saloon.
Yeah, and the fact that she was always there and dressed the way she was, it was one of those things where it was, even though it wasn't mentioned, I think it was understood that she was, she was the madam. So.
Yes, correct. All right, let's see how folks are doing. 5 questions in. I see my friend. I thought I just saw my friend Danny Staten. Well, let's get Al's score up here. 4 for 5 for Al. I'm pretty certain I saw Danny Staten. TP's got 5 for 5 since it's working overtime. Superplex is 4 and 4. B squared says, I have a great speaking voice. Thanks so much. Appreciate that. Joseph Saylor says, one great thing about this channel, always positive vibes. That's what we're shooting for. So thank you, sir. Miss Ellie. Well, Miss Ellie was on Dallas. She was also on the Andy Griffith Show. Different actress, different character, but there as well. Let's see. Leonard Nimoy appeared on Gunsmoke. Sure did. I actually talked about that in my video that's dropping tomorrow. I know I saw Danny's comment, but I can't find it. Danny's 5 of 5. I know that. Let's see. B squared, 5 of 5. Daryl Johnston's 5 of 5. Todd Fowler's 5 of 5. Jimmy C. Marvel Man 1000 is 4 of 5. Lamont Bradford's 5 of 5. Dolph Cook's 5 of 5. Kenneth Wilkinson's got 4 so far. David Neesner is 3 of 5. John Collins 2 of 5. July's 5 of 5. She's rocking it. First time on the stream and rocking it. Mal Havoc's 5 of 5. Georgia Ayers is 3 of 5, and I think I'm all caught up. And let's move on to question number 6. Which character was in every episode of Gunsmoke? Which character didn't miss a single episode? Which character? So we got Chester, Doc Adams, Matt Dillon, or Miss Kitty? John Collins is asking if Steve's channel is monetized. Yeah, he crossed the 1,000 subscriber mark a few months back, and his question was whether he was going to have you're required to have 1,000 hours of viewing time over the last 365 days, but he did make it, and so channel's monetized. He's definitely, I think he's taking his wife out to dinner every month based on the channel. So thanks to everybody for supporting him as well. Robot B9 asked, wasn't William Shatner also on Gunsmoke? I don't think I put the Star Trek trivia question, which I was going to do in here, but yes, he was. As a matter of fact, William Shatner, Leonard Nimoy, DeForest Kelly, and James Doohan all appeared on Gunsmoke during the show's 20-season run. I mean, the only people that were missing was, well, I mean, you go a little deeper, you got Nichelle Nichols. Probably would have been nice to have her on the show, and George Takei and Walter Koenig, I think that's how you say it. Koenig. Yep. Yeah. Harrison Ford was on Gunsmoke. Sure was. I actually mentioned that in my video that drops tomorrow. All right. So whose turn is it? Whose turn is it to give us an answer first?
Scott's.
Okay. Your turn, Scott. You're up, my friend.
You know, I honestly don't know, but Miss Kitty left early. Chester was after Festus, right?
Before Festus.
Before Festus. So it's either got to be Doc or Matt Dillon. And since Doc wasn't a main character, I'm going to have to go with Marshall Matt Dillon.
Okay, Ian, what do you think?
I have to agree, and for the same reasons. If you would have asked me first, I would have said that. I would have said, well, the show's about Matt Dillon.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I
think
don't know.
your logic is sound. Matt Dillon is the correct answer. James Arness was in every single episode. You're right, Scott. Miss Kitty left. She wasn't in the final season of the show.
Right.
And
it's interesting because, unlike a lot of TV shows today where they develop multiple characters, they didn't do that as much in the past. So, you picked some good ones, but yeah, it would have to have been either Miss Kitty or Matt Dillon.
Yeah, or he had to be the Doc or Matt Dillon.
Matt Dillon.
Milburn Stone was in every season of the show, but he missed a handful of episodes during one of the seasons. I can't remember which one.
Maybe Matt Dillon left when somebody lost their virginity and decided not to be on that.
Okay, which actor was not considered for the role of Marshall Matt Dillon? We've got Clint Eastwood, Denver Pyle, Raymond Burr, and William Conrad. You like how I throw the questioning tones there in those? Clint Eastwood, William Conrad. Oh, all right. We'll give folks a minute or two to answer that. They had a lot of great guest stars on that show. A lot of great guest stars. Do you know who the final person that was killed on the show was? Anybody know this little bit of Gunsmoke trivia?
No.
The final person gunned down, I think it was the third to last episode, Gary Busey.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Gary Busey, gunned down on Gunsmoke. The beginnings of his career. Other actors that showed up on that: Betty Davis, Richard Dreyfuss. Holy cow! The list goes on and on. Nick Nolte. Lots of great actors. Whose turn is it? It's your turn, Ian. I think Scott might be frozen. I can't tell. I can't tell if you're just sitting very still, Scott, or if you're frozen.
I'm doing my best not to move my hand around because I'm holding the phone in my hand. So
Yeah.
I'm trying not to cause vertigo for the viewers.
I appreciate the sacrifices you're making today for our viewers' behalf. So thank you. Ian, it is your turn. Process of elimination. Where are you going with this one?
I would have to say that William Conrad, if he did the voice, it would be weird if they didn't offer it to him, but maybe they didn't. I don't know. It could be one of those weird trivia things like, did you know that William Conrad didn't get offered the show, even though I don't know. Raymond Burr. Look, Clint Eastwood, I couldn't imagine people not thinking, hey, let's get Clint Eastwood in here. That was the other show. That was the other one where Clint Eastwood was in it. Forgot the name of that TV show, but they were cattle wranglers. That I did watch that a few times with Clint Eastwood. Do you remember that show?
So I know Clint Eastwood was in a TV Western.
Yeah.
But I did never watch it. And now I'm drawing a blank on the title. It wasn't. I'm drawing a blank. So
let's see.
Our stream will tell us here in just a second.
Raymond Burr.
Be patient.
Raymond Burr.
You're going to go Raymond Burr.
That's the only one I can think of.
Okay.
And I really have no idea because I could say yes or no on all of these people for different reasons.
Yeah. So, Scott, do you want to go along with Ian on Raymond Burr, Mr. Perry Mason / Ironside, or are you going to go with someone else?
This is one I have absolutely no idea on. I almost want to say Clint Eastwood was too young, but I don't think that's the case. I'm going to have to go with Denver Pyle on this one.
Uncle Jesse?
Yeah. Just because, I don't know. They wanted a strong, good-looking man. William Conrad, Raymond Burr, not making it. Clint Eastwood, I think he might have been too young, but I don't know. So I'm going to have to go with Denver Pyle.
Okay. Rawhide was the name of the show. Rollin'.
Yeah.
Rawhide. There you go.
Those doggies rolling. I always think of Jake and Elwood Blues in the Blues Brothers movie playing that song as the beer bottles are being thrown at them. All right. So the Life and Sad Ending says that Eastwood was too young, which means that if Steve were here playing with us, he would be saying Clint Eastwood. And he would be correct. It was Clint Eastwood. Denver Pyle, yeah, that one just boggles my mind. But apparently, they brought in Denver Pyle, they brought in Raymond Burr, and as a courtesy, they brought in William Conrad. But the reality was they thought he was too wide, too large, too big for the role. He had the great voice; he sounded just like Matt Dillon, right? But his physique wasn't quite what they were looking for when it came to what they thought visually Matt Dillon should look like. So kind of sad, but you know what? We can't be too sad for William Conrad. He had a great television career all the way to the very end. Did you guys ever watch Jake and the Fat Man?
Love Jake and the Fat Man.
Great show. And then there was, of course, before that there was Cannon. So he had a great television career as well.
He did.
I'm sure there were others.
And they played on his rotundness in both.
Yes. Yeah, it worked in his advantage, worked in his favor. Yeah. All right, let's see scores real quick. Hey, Harry Hammer Vlogs is here, by the way. Good to have you here, Harry Hammer. Always a pleasure. Carla Farrington's here as well. Haven't said hello or seen Carla, but she was quick to tell us it was Rawhide, which I appreciate the immediate answers. That's the great thing. So we've got 7 questions out there. I want to see the scores. I see Todd Fowler is 7 of 7. Alo Duarte's 5 of 7. Daryl Johnston is 6 of 7. So I'm starting to ask some harder questions because folks are starting to miss. At least a few folks are missing them. Let's see. Kenneth is 5 of 7. Lamont 7 of 7. TP 7 of 7. Let's see what else we got. Come on, folks. Give me your scores. Let's look at a couple other scores. Jimmy C's 6 of 7 superplexes. 5 for 6. The life and let's see. We're moving too fast. The life and sad ending 6 of 7. B squared is 7 of 7. Nick Malmonis is, I'm going to say that's 7 of 7. We'll call it 7 of 7 until I get told differently. All right, let's move on to question number 8. Which of Marshall Dillon's deputies held the role the longest? So all of these characters were deputies or ancillary kind of deputies. What do you want to call them? Part-time deputies, whatever, on the show. You got Chester, you got Festus, you got Quint, which was played by Burt Reynolds. He was the part Indian, part Native American, I should say, Caucasian character. And then Thad, I'm trying to remember the name of the actor who played Thad. I'm drawing a blank on that right now. But anyway, those 4 guys were deputies at one point or another. Which one held the role the longest? Do we have any more scores here? I don't want to put the answer up. I want to get rid of that. Let's do that. Get rid of it that way. John Collins is 3 of 7. Good to have you here, John. Always a pleasure. Thanks again for the super chat. You're a good man. John's also picked up a couple of my T-shirts. Gosh, you know what? You got to love the support. Love the support. Thank you. Good sir. Okay.
By the way, Sonny, I tried to go in and buy a T-shirt and it was sold out.
Really?
Yes.
How can that be? Here's the deal. You do not worry about buying a T-shirt.
I was trying to support the channel.
Yeah, I appreciate that, but you do not buy a T-shirt. What is your size? Would you say you're an XL?
Me, an XL? Probably add another X to that. Make it a 2X.
Okay, you got it, my friend. Okay, let's see here. Is it Ian? Is it your turn?
I think it is.
Okay,
I think it's my turn, but I'm going to say Festus because that's the only other character that I know. I knew Chester.
Yeah,
but I think Festus.
What about you, Scott? Is
yeah,
this a trick question?
Festus for the rest of us. Is that like Festus for So I'm going Festus. Yes.
Wrong show. Wrong.
I know. But still,
for the rest of us. So Ken Curtis is Festus. You think they played it longer than? I really think it's down to Chester or Festus, right? Dennis Weaver or Ken Curtis. Lots of folks in the chat are saying Festus as well. I hope they're right. I really do. Let's see. They are right. Festus is the correct answer.
Right.
Well done. Well done. Let's see. And let's see. So let's do question 9. Scott, are you going to show me something? You look like look at that. Grandkid. Is that your oldest grandkid?
That is, no, my next oldest.
Next oldest. Okay.
Yep. He was giving me a hug tonight.
Oh, well, good night. The internet says good night. Which Brady Bunch? Here we go, folks. You wanted tough. Which Brady Bunch actor did not appear on Gunsmoke? Christopher Knight, Eve Plum, Maureen McCormick, or Susan Olsen? I think it was Dolph that asked about a free T-shirt in the chat. Hey, I'm not ignoring you, Dolph. At some point, I'm going to find a way to give a few away in a contest or something. So there will be a chance. But Scott has earned it. This guy, Scott Barnes, has been with me from the very beginning, so the infancy of this channel, as we would wander around outside of our work in the heat of the day, trying to find a place to record videos. The man has definitely earned a freaking T-shirt. So do not go in and buy your own.
Are any of those still up?
I think I've got them up. I think there's quite a few of them are still up.
Okay.
Yeah, they're there.
We were talking music at that point.
Yeah, we talked about all sorts of great stuff. As a matter of fact, more music than anything else, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Love that. When it started out as the wide world of sodas, where Scott and I would try different sodas. We'd go over to the Rocket Fizz and buy these weird soda flavors, test out the soda, and then talk about something, a band or a type of genre of music or movies, that kind of thing. And always a pleasure. So much fun. People would look at us a little weirdly, but it was a blast. Let's see. So, whose turn is it? Remind me. I've already forgotten whose turn it
It's
is.
Scott's.
I think it's mine.
I can't get out of this one quick enough. So,
All right. So I'm going with this one. What I should have done with the Clint Eastwood one, being too young. Susan Olsen was probably not even born when Gunsmoke ended. So I'm going with Susan Olsen.
Okay, so you're going to go with youth. You're going to play process of elimination. Think that you're just way too young to have been on there. I like it. Okay, Ian, are you gonna? What do you think?
I concur. I mean, that'd be the only thing. I knew Eve Plum did a number of different things, and it seems like the other people would have done something. But Susan Olsen, although Jodie Foster was on one episode, and I think they're about the same age.
Yeah,
I think they're about the same age. So you could. I don't know. It's hard to say. But I'll just go. I don't know. Let me just go. I'll just play something different. Christopher Knight.
Christopher Knight. Peter Brady. Okay, I like that. I love that none of you went Eve Plum because she was a hardworking actress from a very early young age. I remember in a particularly touching episode of Family Affair where she's a young girl who is dying. Family Affair, really, I've talked about this in videos before. They tackled some tough subjects for being a comedy. The kids die. That's the whole premise. Or not the kids, the parents of the kids die. And that's the whole premise of the show. Anyway, I'm getting tangential here. The correct answer. So I've got Susan Olsen from Scott and Christopher Knight from Ian. The correct answer is Marsha.
Is that right?
Oh, wow. Crazy.
Yeah. Susan Olsen was actually there.
She must have played a very small kid.
Our friend TP Thrash Pondo points out that Miss Olsen actually got the part on the Brady Bunch by talking about her appearance on Gunsmoke.
That's awesome.
Thanks for that, Thrash Pondo. Always a pleasure to get. So let's see scores. Yeah, because we're running up to the very end. We've only got one more question. B squared is 9 of 9. Mike Jones is 9 of freaking 9. Superplex is 6 of 8. Al Oduarte's 6 of 9. James Mitchell 7 of 9. Daryl Johnston said exactly what I said. Marsha. July Miller is 7 of 9. Thrash Pondo's 8 of 9. I stumped you on one. Oh, okay, impressive. Let's see. Mike is rocking it for sure. Life and Sad Ending 7 of 9. Todd Fowler's 9 of 9. I missed it there. And there we go. Mr. Led 7 of 9. Daryl Johnson's 8 of 9. Dolph Quick, I'm trying to keep him as easy, but I got to throw a couple tough ones in there. 8 of 9. Lamont's 8 of 9. Jimmy C. Marvelman 1000, another great YouTube username, is 7 of 9. All right, let's do this. Final question. Do I have a drum roll on this thing? I've got this new mixer board. I don't think I do. I don't have a drum roll. I got this. I got cheering. There we go. We're all happy about the final question. 10 of 10. 10 of 10. Let's see what it is. In 1967, CBS almost canceled Gunsmoke. However, a last-minute decision saved it and caused what other beloved, especially by Dave Sundstrom, TV show to be canceled in its place? All right, don't answer, fellers. Oh, got to take a drink. You can't beat a good Diet Coke. Here's my Diet Coke sound effect.
after running millions of computations. I have determined that Diet Coke is the best.
Could you hear that?
Something contradictions I observe. Diet
Yeah,
Coke
I
is
got to
the best.
bump up the volume. After running millions of computations, I have determined that Diet Coke is the best.
Computations.
Computations.
That
Yep.
makes more sense.
Yes, it does. All right. So let's see what we got going on here. Let's go ahead and Georgia's 7-9. Good to have your score in there. Oh, we're getting some folks are saying some folks are so certain about this answer. They've already given me their final score, which means I need to scroll back up.
That's great.
Certain. Whose turn is it?
It's mine.
Okay, what's the answer?
I just gotta say Gilligan's Island. I mean, I don't even know if it's right, but I know you love Gilligan's Island, and
Well, I love all of these shows.
Yeah. Well, look, I know you really love Andy Griffith, but I
yes.
think earlier you were saying something about Gilligan's Island, so I'm just going to
yeah. There was some conversation about Gilligan's Island earlier. What do you think, Scott?
I honestly think it was the Beverly Hillbillies.
Okay. I love that you know what, it would make sense. It's right around the time of the Rural Purge. And the Hillbillies, along with a bunch of other shows on CBS, including Mayberry RFD, Hee Haw, a bunch of shows got axed when CBS canceled every show that had a tree in it. Every show that had a tree in it. However, this time the correct answer is Gilligan's Island. What happened was William Paley was the president of CBS at the time, and his wife, her name was Babe. Well, Babe loved Gunsmoke, and William had a big history with Gunsmoke. He had helped in the development of that show early on. He was the guy that requested Philip Marlowe, a Western with Philip Marlowe. And so when Babe said, "Oh, I can't even handle the thought of losing Gunsmoke," he went back to the folks that were considering canceling it because it was suffering a little bit on the ratings. And they said, let's move it around to another time slot and see if it does better. They moved it into the Gilligan's Island time slot, and it did not only much better, it did much better than Gilligan's Island had ever been doing at that theme in that spot. And although the network had already told Sherwood Schwartz that they would renew Gilligan's Island for a 4th season, guess what? Can you believe that those guys would go back on their word and cancel Gilligan's Island? Hard to believe. Yeah, it's a shame.
They would have had that 4th season. They would have gotten off the island for sure.
Well, Sherwood Schwartz said that it was always part of his plan to rescue them from the island before the show actually ended its run. But because he thought that they'd gotten a 4th season, they were done. They were done with filming the 3rd season, and so. Yeah, it took literally a decade plus later for them to do a TV movie and get those poor castaways rescued. Thank heavens. All right. I asked the question in the community section, do you think CBS, Bill Paley and his dear wife, Babe, did they make the correct decision in 1967 to cancel Gilligan's Island instead of Gunsmoke? 3,000 people responded and definitively said, nope. Well, there you go. You know what? I love Gilligan's Island, but Gunsmoke went on to have another, I think, 5-6 seasons after this. So I don't know. It's hard.
I don't know what like in a parallel universe, it'd be like what would have Gilligan's Island have done?
Yeah.
And I'm much more familiar with Gilligan's Island because it's a comedy, and I generally like comedies more. But that's an interesting question. What would if that hadn't happened? How many more seasons of Gilligan's Island would there have been?
That's the question I ask. Because I have a feeling that it would not have ran the 5, 6, 7 more seasons that Gunsmoke ran. And Gunsmoke started to have great ratings again once it got moved to that new time slot. All right, Al Oduardi, our good friend Alfred, he was the first one. He posted this before we even told the answer. He knew he was right. 7 of 10 is the correct answer. All right, were you guys keeping track? Do you guys know how you did? Just curious.
I did 7 of 10 as well.
I might have done 6 of 10.
Not bad, though. Yeah, not bad at all. Georgia was 7 of 9. Oh, that might be before the final question. Mike Jones got 10 of 10. Congratulations, Mike. It's always an accomplishment when you get them all correct. And there were a couple tough ones in there. I'm not saying they all were tough, but there were definitely some tougher ones in there. Let's see what we got here. Daryl Johnston was 9 of 10. B squared got 10 of 10. Congratulations, sir. You deserve a cheer for that. And Life and Sad Ending and James Mitchell both got 8 of 10. We'll give them some applause. There we go. While I continue to look through here. The Life and Sad Ending says, I am a failure. I wouldn't consider 8 of 10 a failure. You beat both Scott and Ian, and I'm going to be truthful with you, Steve. You would have beat Dave Sundstrom if I hadn't created the quiz myself. So do not feel that way. Dolph Quick was 9 of 10. July Miller, first time on the live stream, 8 of 10. Superplex, 7 of 9. Let's see, we got any more scores here? John struggled a little bit with the Gunsmoke, but that's okay. We don't have to be an expert in every show to enjoy shows from particular eras, right? That's okay. 4 of 10 still. I mean, you got 4 right. Good job. Todd Fowler, 10 of 10. Darn Mrs. Paley. I'm calling her babe. I'm going with the first name. I feel like, I've thought enough about her and her actions to be on a first name basis with her. 7 of 10 for Georgia. Good job, Georgia. Does Steve do live streams? He does not at this point. I'm encouraging him to. I've also encouraged my good friend Ian. Ian, the guy that runs Retro Serial,
Yes.
to look into the live stream. And I know you're working on that, correct?
I'm going to be working on a review with Thrash Pondo Pawns on season 1 of X-Files, and we are also going to be doing a Q&A on the 3 books that we've done, 3 book versus movie that we've done. So I just got to get that hammered out as well. And anybody's welcome to, any Dave and Steve and Scott, and anybody is really welcome to come on and talk about X-Files or whatever. But me and Thrash Pondo are really working on this whole book versus movie kind of thing, which has been really fun to do. And we're going to take some questions and answers on that here real soon.
Love it. I can't wait to see it. Can't wait to, maybe pop into the stream and talk a little bit and visit with you guys. If not live, definitely on the chat. So looking forward to that, Ian. And of course, if you need any help, don't hesitate to reach out.
Okay.
Scott, what are you up to? What's next in the project list for you? What is Debbie got you working on next?
Adirondack chairs is what's on deck.
That's right. I mentioned that. That's still part of that's in the future. That
will be, we're going on vacation. It's our 35th anniversary this weekend.
Congratulations.
So we're taking a little vacation, and when I get back, then we'll start up on Adirondack chairs.
That's awesome. Can't wait to see the finished project. And Ian, I think a lot of folks probably missed what your next video, what the things you're working on. And beside the live stream, you want to talk about your
tomorrow I've got somebody coming on the show. We're going to be talking about subgenres of rock music, of music in general, and subgenres of rock music. What's a subgenre and what's a genre, and different things like that. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And I am working on the shorter videos too. I do 2 kinds of videos over on my channel. The longer podcast interview kind of thing. And then I do shorter, more YouTube-friendly videos. And I'm going to be talking about the cartoon series Black Star, which was one of my favorite sword and sorcery, also futuristic fantasy, action, adventure cartoons. Please subscribe. It would mean the world to me. I'm trying to get monetized as well. And out there. So if you're out there,
do me a favor. Forget giving me a thumbs up. Forget subscribing to my channel right now. If you would do me one favor, the way you could show me the greatest support this evening is if you haven't gone over, and I'm not saying subscribe to Ian's channel, I'm saying take a look around. See what he's offering, what he's all about. And if by chance it looks like he's got some interesting topics and things that you might enjoy listening to, he's got all sorts of videos, long form, short form videos, talks about music, movies, and television, but he dares to go where Dave Sundstrom doesn't occasionally. He goes occasionally deep on certain topics like disabilities, things like that. It's impressive what Ian covers. So give him a look and perhaps subscribe to his channel, help him out a little bit. I have one other thing I want to say real quick, which is to our new stream member, our new person that joined us this evening. It's Julie, not July. I blame you. I blame your parent for giving you that spelling for your name. But Julie, we will do our best to remember. But I can't say, I'm getting older and I forget things, so you may have to remind me again. But I'll. Oh, I love this question too. This is a request, I should say, from Dolph. That would be a fun one. I don't know if I'm going to do a live stream. That might be a good live stream, but that's also a good topic for another video. One of these days, we should talk about shows that jump the shark. They almost all do eventually.
Yeah.
It's when, Happy Days jumped the shark, when Fonzie jumped the
Fonzie
shark.
jumped the
Hence
shark.
the term.
And Henry Winkler actually jumped the shark on Arrested Development. I don't know if you were a big Arrested Development fan, but it's a scene in there where he actually jumps over a shark.
Yeah.
So it's pretty funny.
That's awesome. I have not seen. I thought I'd seen most of the Arrested Development episodes. I need to go back and I don't.
It's the one
maybe
where
I
Buster
forgot.
lost his hand, and they found it in the seal that lost its hand due to a shark.
So good.
It's hilarious.
So good. Hey, Life and Sad Ending. Just subscribe to you, Ian. So you got
Oh,
one
thank
more there.
you. Thank you very much. Life and Sad Ending was awesome.
I'm stretching, folks. We got
I want to get him on the show too. He can
Yes.
come on my show as well as
Oh
yours.
man, he's got stories to tell. You should see what you can do to get him on the show just to visit with you. He's what an amazing story. His channel, the development of his channel, the work that he's done, and occasionally, you know what he does? Every once in a while, Steve gets Mrs. Life and Sad Ending to narrate his videos, which is always fun too.
Oh.
So. All right, it's an hour and a half in. Live streams are only supposed to go an hour. That's really the nature of a live stream. It should be an hour long. It's 8:00 here, local time here in Utah.
We have too much fun. We have too much fun.
But I'm all tuckered out. I'm ready to take a shower, have some hot cocoa or something to counteract all this Diet Coke and hit the stack. So, hey,
Still
thanks
100
everybody.
degrees.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Scott, for joining us tonight.
Thanks, Dave.
It's always so much fun to have you with me. And thanks to each and every one of you, my YouTube community, who took the time to hang out with me this evening, keep me company on a Wednesday. Truly appreciate you. Thank you so much. I'm going to look to the side here. I know it's so unprofessional, but this is the way that I end the broadcast. Click the right buttons over here. But thanks again to everybody. Have a great night.